Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to The Explainer. I'm the Vex Jivastava, a cloud security architect, and today we're unpacking a topic that is fundamentally reshaping how we think about digital trust. We're talking about architecting for quantum-safe infrastructure. Now, for decades, our entire digital world, from your cloud workloads to global financial transactions, has relied on the sheer mathematical complexity of things like integer factorization and discrete logarithms to keep data safe. It's worked great. But as we're going to see today, those mathematical foundations, they are facing a very real, unprecedented expiration date.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. What if the data you're encrypting today is already compromised? I know, it sounds like a paradox, right? How can it be broken if the technology to break it isn't fully here yet? But honestly, this is the harsh reality of the quantum era. We don't actually need a fully functional, cryptographically relevant quantum computer to exist today for your current data to be at risk. The clock is already ticking. Adversaries are playing a very long game here, and to understand how your seemingly secure data could already be in jeopardy, we need to take a hard look at what's coming over the horizon.
All right, Section 1. The Post-Quantum Threat, Understanding the Risk.
So traditional computing, the stuff we use every day, processes information linearly using bits, right? It represents either a 0 or a 1. But quantum computing uses qubits, and because of mind-bending quantum properties like superposition and entanglement, qubits can exist in multiple states simultaneously. This means quantum systems can process certain mathematical problems exponentially faster than our classical systems ever could. And here's the kicker. There's a specific mathematical concept called Shor's algorithm. When you run Shor's algorithm on a mature quantum computer, it will easily slice right through the exact math problems that currently secure asymmetric encryption methods like RSA and ECC. Basically, the walls we've built to protect our data simply won't hold up.
Moving on to Section 2. Harvest now, decrypt later, the imminent threat.
To truly grasp why we need to act right now, we have to look at Mosca's theorem. This is the math that proves why we're already sitting in the danger zone. The theorem states that if x, which is your data's required shelf life, plus y, the time it takes you to actually migrate your infrastructure, is greater than z, the time it takes for a commercial quantum computer to arrive, well, then you are already vulnerable. Think about it. If your combined timeline of x and y is bigger than z, adversaries literally do not need a quantum computer today. They are just intercepting and archiving your encrypted enterprise data right now, throwing it on a hard drive, waiting for Z to arrive, and then they'll just decrypt it later.
Let's ground this abstract math in reality for a minute. Think about long-lived, highly sensitive data. In healthcare, patient records and medical research often legally have to be kept secure for 10, sometimes 30 years. In banking, we're talking about transaction histories and core customer identity data. For governments, it's classified communications and legal evidence. These specific industries are the prime targets for these store now, decrypt later attacks. If an attacker exfiltrates an encrypted backup of a hospital's records today, they don't even try to read it. They just sit on it. Then, in a decade, when quantum hardware matures, boom, they decrypt decades of your most sensitive records.
Okay, now take a deep breath because this next part actually relieves a little bit of the panic. Not absolutely everything is broken. If we look at the vulnerability breakdown, asymmetric cryptography, so things like RSA, ECDH, and ECDSA, yeah, that is at extremely high risk and will be completely shattered. This heavily impacts your TLS handshakes, your SSH keys, your digital signatures. However, symmetric cryptography remains remarkably resilient. Algorithms like AES-256 and SHA-256 are heavily resistant. Even though quantum methods like Grover's algorithm can speed up brute force attacks, it merely halves their effective bit security. What that means is AES-256 still provides 128 bits of quantum security, and that remains mathematically infeasible to crack.
Section 3. The new NIST PQC standards. The cryptography shift.
So what's the fix? The crucial point is understanding the new tools we now have at our disposal. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, has finalized its primary standards. We are seeing a global shift away from prime factorization toward modulo lattice-based cryptography. First up, we have FIPS 203. This was originally called Kyber, but it's now standardized as ML-CAM. This is strictly for key encapsulation, and it's going to replace our traditional key exchanges. Second is FIPS 204, or MLDSA, which steps in to replace our current digital signatures so we can prevent identity forgery. And third, we have FIPS 205, also known as SLHHDSA, which acts as a fantastic stateless hash-based backup signature scheme. These right here are the brand new foundations of digital trust.
Which brings us to Section 4, Cloud Migration Blueprint, Securing the Modern Cloud.
When you look at modern cloud environments, securing your data in transit is the absolute immediate priority to mitigate those harvest now, decrypt later risks. And the most elegant solution is hybrid post-quantum TLS. Instead of just ripping out the old and dropping in the new, we combine them. It's a belt and suspenders approach. You use the traditional key exchange, like ECDAG, right alongside a post-quantum mechanism, like MLChem. It's a brilliant failsafe. If, say, 5 years from now, a hidden mathematical flaw is found in the new post-quantum standard, your connection is still entirely protected by the classical algorithm, and vice versa. The major cloud providers are already all over this. Endpoints like AWS Key Management Service and Azure Key Vault already support these hybrid key exchanges natively.
Section 5. Achieving Crypto Agility, the Operational Realities.
Now, migrating to post-quantum cryptography is not just a simple software patch. We're going to face some intense physical architecture challenges. Here's a perfect example. A traditional ECC public key is tiny, roughly 32 bytes, but a new lattice-based MLChem 768 public key, that exceeds 1,100 bytes. The ciphertext is substantially larger. When you start pushing keys that massive through your network, it can actually cause network packets to fragment across maximum transmission unit boundaries. This extra size and computational overhead can literally break legacy firewall rules and introduce real latency and high-throughput APIs. You can't just flip a switch. Your infrastructure literally has to be ready to carry the physical weight of these new keys.
Because of those friction points, before you make a single infrastructure change, your security teams must generate a CBOM, a cryptographic bill of materials. You need a comprehensive, overarching map of every single data asset, every encryption algorithm in use, exactly where your keys are stored, and critically, all of your third-party vendor dependencies that might still rely on those legacy public keys. Avoiding hard-coded encryption dependencies and establishing true crypto agility is quite literally the only way you'll survive this transition without breaking your entire network.
So how do we get there? Enterprises need a structured 3-phase action plan. Phase 1 is discovery. You've got to deploy automated runtime scanning tools immediately to locate any public-facing endpoints running vulnerable algorithms. Phase 2 is short-term hybridization. This is where you actually update your load balancers and API gateways to enforce cipher policies that negotiate that hybrid PQTLS we talked about earlier. And finally, Phase 3 is pure PQC. This is the long-term goal for production hardening, planning for the complete, total deprecation of classical algorithms across the board to meet global compliance.
If you're looking for an immediate, actionable step right now, you can evaluate your active external exposure today. Just run an open-source tool like PQC Scan against your public domain edge. It's quick, it's easy, and it will verify if your current TLS policy is even capable of accepting post-quantum cipher suites right now. It is a fantastic way to see exactly where your infrastructure stands today.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to consider. Is your encryption truly ready for the quantum era, or are you just storing data for your adversaries? The preparation window isn't in the future. It has already begun. Understanding your infrastructure, building real cryptographic agility, and embracing these new standards is absolutely the only way to ensure your digital trust survives what's coming. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this helps you start building your quantum-safe roadmap today.